Soy wax is one of the most important ingredients. Soy wax comes in a flake format, so it's really easy to measure out exactly the amount that you need. Now when you purchase your soy wax, it's very important to buy soy wax that's designed for textile use. You can buy soy wax that's made for candles at the craft store in the candle section. You can buy it on eBay. The problem is the soy wax that's designed for use with candles has additional ingredients in it.
Before I actually start with the crayons, I need to do a little bit of a preparation to the fabric. So I'm working on silk today, and the silk I'm working on was soaked previously in the vinegar and water solution that we discussed earlier. And in order to stabilize the fabric, I'm going to iron the fabric onto freezer paper. Freezer paper is shiny on one side, that's a thin plastic layer. That plastic layer can be bonded through the use of the iron temporarily to the fabric so that it makes a nice stiff surface to draw onto. So I'm going to cut off a piece of freezer paper. The beauty of these crayons is that exactly the line that I see here, that's the line I'm going to get later after this has been steamed. So I'm doing a relatively boring, sort of straightforward thing here, but I could come back with another color and work into this pattern. Every time I lay a color over another color, it's the nature of the dyes, because it is a chemical reaction, to blend somewhat.
Now you can use just about any tool that can withstand heat in order to apply the hot wax. So one of the things that we like to use is a brush, and really the techniques that I'll be demonstrating are very similar to what you might do if you've worked with soy wax before without the dye added. We'll be using a lot of the same techniques, but just having the dye added to the soy wax. Brushes are really nice, and I particularly prefer the natural bristle. Foam brushes, sometimes the heat gets them a little bit melted. Some synthetic bristles don't stand up as well, so the natural bristle brushes work very nicely. And you can get a really nice effect by brushing on with any type of brush.
Here's what I've got. Basically, you need a hot plate, and unless you're going to put it on your stove. But if you're planning to use a stovepipe like we're building, which allows you to steam longer lengths of fabric, then it is probably going to be easier for you to maneuver if you've got a hot plate where you can be lower, where your center of gravity can be closer to the ground, instead of trying to put this up on a stove where you would have a difficult time getting into it. So I have a hot plate here, and you can look for those at thrift stores. You can look for one at an inexpensive general store. They're relatively easy to find.